Welcome to this Infosecurity Europe podcast.
My name's Steve Wright. I'm a partner at Privacy Culture. We're an organisation dedicated to helping CISOs and DPOs embed that culture of change. That really helps organisations understand where and how their policies, security, privacy policies are working, and how we can help them embed them so that we can change the minds and the hearts of the workforce. That's what we're all about. What poses the biggest threat from working from home has not really changed a great deal with the pandemic. All that's happened is it's sort of exacerbated the problem. And that is the simple truth that you're potentially working on unsecured devices. You might be working on a shared laptop that you're using for homeschooling, for example, or your kids are using it to play Minecraft in the evening. All of those good things, but unfortunately, somebody else may inadvertently click on something, or a phishing scam or something like that, and unwillingly or unwittingly you would then be subject to some sort of device, some sort of malicious software being installed on your laptop, and then you're connecting to your work and picking up your work stuff. So in summary, it's a sort of the blurry line of devices and responsibility, and how can any organization control that when it's not in their control. It's not necessarily one of their assets. And this is particularly prevalent in mobile devices, where we use the mobile device for both home email and for work email, and it's all on one unsecured device. Well, I think the best way to mitigate the risk is of remote workers, and there's many of us at the moment, is about training, really. It's predominantly about making sure that our staff, our workforce, know what to do. They understand the risks, and that they've got the tools and the advice and guidance at their fingertips. And that, that's not a quick job. That has to be done incrementally, small bite-sized chunks. It's not like 45 minutes of e-learning once a year and then, my workforce are secure. It's little bits and little pieces of information being fed constantly, and making it fun, like quizzes and interactive videos and all sorts of things like that, so that people really do learn and understand. Because ultimately what you're trying to do is change attitudes and behaviors around how we operate online, at home, or remotely. And the pandemic has seen a 400% increase in cybercrime since the beginning of last year. And that's because we are all so vulnerable, even more so now, when we're using multiple devices, and we're trying to do our best, if you like, to understand and mitigate those risks. But I think, for me, only training, communication and awareness on an ongoing basis is the way to mitigate it. Well, I suppose what concerns IT, security and SOCs the most, I think, there's a human aspect to this. There's the feelings of, self-isolation, first of all, the well-being of all of our staff, of our workforce. I'm really conscious that, we do daily Teams meetings, and that's fine, but you don't always get to know and get a feel for how that individual is feeling. And frankly, when we're all isolated and we're working, we might find ourselves going to research holidays or something like that, or look up websites that perhaps we wouldn't have normally done, and we might go into uncharted territory. And I think so for any organization that has a fantastic security capability, now is the time to be monitoring and be extra vigilant with whitelisting and making sure that some of those sites are blocked, and that things like antivirus is up to date, and all of the good practices that, and your vulnerability management is on top of everything. But again, it just sort of always, for me, it always stems back that your first line of defense is your people, it is your workforce. So the more you communicate, the more you train, the more tools you provide, backed up by really good resources in your security teams to keep monitoring that and helping those individuals. I mean, let's be honest, when you click on something or you receive something like a phishing email, you don't always know. They're so clever now. What you want to be able to do is pick up the phone and say, should I be clicking on this? And you need that advice. And that's where the IT security teams can be incredibly important link to make sure that we maintain that vanguard, that we keep our, we try to protect our businesses and our assets.
Thank you for listening to this Infosecurity Europe podcast.